All right, 6:30, we'll call this meeting to order. If you could all please stand for the allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Matt, who do we have?
Okay, I'm still admitting people here. Not to the hospital, thank goodness. All right, so we got Nat Smith, we got Chris Hardaway, we got DR White, Gary Deer, iPhone 3, Michael, Samantha Pierce, and Sharon White.
Is there a way, Matt, to get the names of who iPhone 3 is? I think we should have the...
I've actually messaged them multiple times in the past. They never respond. I can message them again though.
Well, I just think they'd call. It'd be nice to have the first and last name like we have for the people who are here physically, so we know who's...
Yeah,
But, okay. Once again, I'm not going to read the procedure from road access and public comment, word for word. We've not had a problem recently, so as long as people are doing what we're supposed to be doing, you know, raise a hand to speak remotely. People in the audience, we have public comment for those folks to speak, so. Gonna move on to the agenda. You all had a chance to look at the agenda, so I will take a motion to set the agenda.
Well, are we gonna, under Caitlin Parker, discuss the treasurer's report amongst the board? Is that what we'll do? So we'll just say that we'll still do the treasurer's report.
I was just for a second, I was gonna open up for changes and discussion, but that's okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Because we do have on that the agenda, Donnie Keel is here, he's requested the chance to speak for the fire department. So,
Is that something that can be done under public comment?
Fine by me, whatever you guys do.
How long do you anticipate?
2 or 3 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
so, the only other thing is something came in from Janice that I would add under the information updates is just notice on elections training 101. So if we can just, someone would make any other changes or suggestions for the agenda? If not, I would take a motion just to accept, but add the elections training 101 under the information updates, no action needed.
I'll make the motion.
So that's a motion by Steve Haynes. Is there a second?
Yep.
Second by Tom Fuller. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay. Public comment. Yes.
I actually just have a few questions from the last meeting regarding fleet permits. If you see a violation, who exactly do you contact? Do you call like Janice, or do you call Steve, who seems to be the enforcer? Or
A violation of what kind?
like vehicles, overloaded vehicles, vehicles that aren't supposed to be on public streets.
So,
Could you repeat the question? Just, it's hard to hear and typing maybe.
she wants to know who is responsible or who to talk to for vehicles that are violating the fleet permit.
Or any part of it.
So, my question would be, what streets are they on that they're not allowed to be on? And how do you know that they're overloaded?
Well, you can just look at them and see they're overloaded, but like on
I cannot.
South and North Main Street, there are vehicles that go by quite often that aren't allowed, aren't permitted to be on public streets.
You're gonna have to be more specific as to who's not permitted, because if they have a fleet permit, the fleet permits allow them to be on all of the town roads, we don't have a truck route designated for all vehicles in town.
Okay, but you didn't answer my question. Who do we contact?
I guess you would contact me or Tom.
Okay, and what if the person you're supposed to contact is the person doing the violating? Who do you
When did I
contact?
violate it?
I'm not talking about you.
When did Tom violate it?
I've got step. He does it quite often. He is. And actually, who do I contact about?
So we're running trucks on the road?
No, your triaxles have gone by. I'm not sure what it was.
I guess I'm confused, I don't have a triaxle.
I guess to me, Tracy, if
Right.
you think there's something being done wrong, I would send an email or something, contact the select board. You can send it to Janice, it'll get forwarded to us to look at. But right now, I mean, I haven't heard anything specific, anything that actually is,
Okay, what I'm saying is if it's somebody that's on the select board or in
Well,
the town government that's doing it, who else do I contact? DMV, DOT?
there's 5 members of the board.
MSHA, who do I,
Like I said, there's 5 elected members of the board. So you can bring it to the board's attention. I mean, you can call, I guess to me, you can call whoever you think you should call, but as far as the town, we represent the town, we're elected. You know, I'm the chair, there's 5 members here. You can bring it to attention of the board, but you have to have specifics. To me, you have to have something, I mean, you can't just go on, you say you got a whole pile of things that are not
I
legal.
didn't bring them with me, but I do have video, I have still pictures I can bring in. I have a log, which I've been told by at $250 to keep about it. So, I mean, he had a flatbed with, I don't know if it was a shaker or a screener, I don't know. That thing, you could see the crack happening in the road as it went by. That was January, and then he brought it back in April the other way.
Well, I mean, like I said, I think he has a right to use the roads. Like Steve said, we don't have a designated truck route, so. And he has a fleet permit, he submitted his permit.
He's permitted to crack the roads and,
Like I said, if you feel you have something exactly happened, I would bring that to the board's attention. And so we can address it or look at it, but you're just coming here to a meeting and you're saying you have a stack of things and the person driving is cracking the road by. It's kind of hard to do anything with, but you have to be more specific and submit it to the board.
okay.
If you feel you should- if you feel you need-
The question I have, which you probably won't answer either, is, what are the consequences if I can prove, which I can, of the violations? I mean, do they get like a warning first and then a fine and his permit revoked, or is it like a sequence? You just get a warning first, or?
We would have to be able to, we would have to be able to
For
prove.
anybody that violates the fleet permit, what are the consequences? Is there like are you just, you know, the first time somebody does it, anybody, do they just get a warning? And then if you do it again, a fine? You know, what are the consequences? Is what I'm.
First, we have to,
For anybody.
I'm not gonna answer your question if you won't allow me to answer the question. If you're gonna keep talking when I try and talk, we're done with this conversation. I've tried to answer you 3 times now, and every time I open my mouth, you start talking. I'm trying to be nice about this, so let's just slow down. The first time we catch them and can prove that they have actually done damage to the road, or they're on a road they're not supposed to. That being said, if it's a violation of his Act 250 permit, that has nothing to do with the fleet permit. That is Act 250, that has nothing to do with us. If he is on a different road and we can prove he damaged it, the first thing that happens is I threaten him. The second thing, if he does it again, whoever's driving that truck is told, the truck does not move. And DOT gets called, and they go through the truck. Then it's DOT's problem to find them for anything that goes wrong. And if they've done damage to the road that I can prove that they did damage, then we have to take them to court if we're going to force it.
So, and I also say, just when someone signs and they send for a fleet permit and it's approved, there's also wording and language in the fleet permit that if the holder of that permit is liable for any damages, and you have to prove, like you said, you have to prove that they're the sole reason, then there are repercussions by state statute and different things right here in the fleet permits that are submitted and that we approve. Okay?
And with the fleet permits, the vehicles that are listed have their weight ratings on there. And unless they exceed the weight ratings, then there's nothing that we can say about it. Once we approve the weight, it doesn't matter to me if Tom's heaviest rig is 120,000 pounds. If he has the proper state permits, we approve it.
The other thing I say, Tracy, if this, public comment is meant for comments 2 to 3 minutes long, and it is clearly stated, if you have an issue that you really want to bring before the board, it's gonna take longer than that, it's to be asked to put on the agenda.
So the front end loader the town owns is registered. You can see the plate in the back window up top.
No.
No,
They don't need to be registered.
they don't register loaders anymore. The state of Vermont won't let you. That went away probably 20 years ago.
The town's loader is insured, but is not registered.
Okay. Anybody else?
I just have one thing. This resident land use letters, Griffith, Fuller, Haynes, is that the letters that are gonna be submitted to the Rutland Regional?
They were,
Yeah, okay.
they were addressed to the Rutland Regional Planning Commission, the Select Board Planning Commission, but yes.
Okay.
Donnie?
Speak for Danby, Mount Tabor Fire Department. We would like to purchase some of these signs that they have in other towns. I'm gonna give these to you so you can all look at them. We're gonna get 2 of these signs and 2 of these for burn ban. Last summer during the burn ban, we had how many, 4 fires during?
Several.
Well, we didn't know about it. Well, I think everybody else knew. So we would like to get some help paying for these if possible. Mount Tabor has graciously offered to pay for half, so I'll give this to you and you can make a decision. You can put it on next month's agenda or whatever you want.
How much are they?
Well, I'll let you can look at it and pass it around. The price is on the second sheet there.
$1,000 each? No.
No.
No, for a total of it.
510.
And where were you wanting to put them, Donnie? How,
We really haven't decided that yet.
I think you put one at the main fire station for sure, wouldn't you?
I would like to see something there, yes.
now, do these have a different arrow pointing at different areas per, or is
I
this?
believe that, yes, I believe there's a thing that you can,
They're supposed to manually adjust it based on the actual
Yeah.
conditions.
Right.
and that's gonna be your job, so.
To go.
When you go by, you can flip it to where it needs to be.
So when the town needs to burn something, we push it to low?
Yes, there you go, see?
Well, the thing is, it probably should be on the agenda for us to actually take it up and vote and approve funds, so it
Right.
probably should go on the June agenda. I hate
Yeah.
to say it, but, so if you're,
Are you gonna need me back in June for that, or
We
you?
probably don't need you, Donnie, now that we've got it. If
Okay, I just want, just to bring it to your attention.
yeah, no, and I appreciate it, like I said, we always generally support the fire department.
Yeah,
Yes,
appreciate
we
it.
should have it on the, I'll put it on the June agenda, so we
Okay.
can bring it up, vote, okay?
All right, and I'll,
So you're asking for 50%?
yes, whatever that amount is, because Mount Tabor's already agreed to,
Is it gonna be just 2 signs, Donnie?
well, there'd be 4 total.
Oh, okay.
2 of the big ones and 2 of the little ones. The burn ban ones won't be on all the time, only when there's,
Well, you're talking two of these?
yeah, yes, 2 of these and 2 of those.
So you're gonna put one at the main firehouse. Are you putting one in Mount Tabor? Seems,
Actually, probably, maybe on Route 7, down by the store, I don't know. We haven't really come up with a,
so the only reason I'm asking is I'm wondering if you should, if the fire department should get a third sign to put one up at the Four Corners Firehouse.
that's
Wow, that's a good idea,
a good
too.
idea. That's a very good idea.
Because there's
might
quite a
wanna-
disconnect at times.
Well, I'll bring it up at our next meeting, you know, if we need to maybe purchase another one for up there. Thank you for bringing that up, Steve, appreciate it.
Or even at the entrance to town from
Yes.
Paul.
Yeah,
If you can discuss it with them and just let me
Okay.
know, so we have the right amount for to put on the,
okay,
to discuss in June, okay?
okay, well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Donnie.
Thank you, Don.
Parlor for a second.
All right, I'm gonna head out. You all have a great night.
Thanks, Don.
You too.
Thank you.
Take care.
See you in the morning.
Okay, see you tomorrow, Ken.
Anybody else, public comment, who's here?
Do we have anyone online has public comment? Please raise your hand. I do not see anyone raising their hand.
Okay, seeing no more public comment, we'll move on to, the minutes from April 9th. You guys have all a chance to look at the minutes.
I'll make the motion, we adopt the minutes.
That's a motion by Steve Haynes,
Second.
second by Brad Bender, to accept the, minutes from April 9th, 2026. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Passes unanimously.
Okay, information. Okay, Rutland Regional Planning Commission, the final hearing for the 2026 plan is May 19th, 2026, 7 PM. And if that will be held in Rutland and remotely. And that will be the last hearing, so I'm not sure, are you planning on going? I may make that attempt also. So that's that piece. The health equity, just want to give a quick update on that. Caitlin had said that she had, I think, got together with Hilda, you guys had called, and was explained that as Caitlin, as a quote employer, is only able to deactivate accounts and replenish funds. And they confirm each employee needs to contact member services to get assistance with login and claim submissions. And they also know that claims need to be submitted online except for some prescriptions. And Caitlin also made note that she's working with Health Equity to, I guess, integrate it into the Blue Cross Blue Shield to hopefully make the process a bit more like seamless. I'm not entirely sure what that entails, but it'll be a couple weeks before that was complete. So that's what I had to add on that piece, but I just want to make sure people knew that Caitlin did try to, I guess, clarify some things on.
And one more thing on that, customer service told us when Hilda and I were on the phone working on it, that our employer had to change everything in there that we could not, because none of my sons are listed as dependents, and they couldn't help us change that. They said Caitlin had to, and the next day that other woman told Caitlin that we had to. So at this point, it's still unusable.
Another month into it.
So let me understand it again. So what she told Caitlin, the next day she said something different?
No, Hilda and I went through customer service, called them on the phone.
After?
No, before.
Okay.
We called before, and the guy helped Hilda actually access the portal, which she hadn't been able to do up until that point. And Hilda was listed as a dependent, none of my children. And they told her that we couldn't change that our employer had to. And he was very helpful, very friendly, but we got to this point and that was it. It's a roadblock. We can't do any more to it. And then the next day, Caitlin worked on it, and the woman that she was talking to, who's on the administrative side, said, oh no, you can't change that, the employee has to.
The employer.
No, they told
Oh,
Caitlin
yes.
the employee had to.
So what you need to do is get both Caitlin and you on the phone at the same time with them.
I sat right here with Caitlin before her and Hilda called.
Okay, and when you told them that the employee and employer are both here?
Do you want me to send you over to customer service? Was the answer I got.
Steve, why don't you ask Caitlin to see if she can ask their policies regarding changes to beneficiaries and get it in writing in an email.
If Caitlin can get everything set to integrate it, Blue Cross Blue Shield will update all of the information automatically.
Right.
But until then, Caitlin can't change it on her end, and I can't change it on my end because the way the account is set up, we can access it, but we can't change anything. And even the woman at one point said, oh, well, the way it's set, he can't change it now, but after it's integrated, it'll be automatic.
So that should be shortly. Right?
It's 3 to 5 days before Caitlin gets anything, and then it's, I don't know how long before.
Well, I think we'll have to follow up on the integration
Yeah, and that is what Jen had set up originally.
through Blue Cross Blue Shield somehow.
No, it's through, well, she had integrated it through Health Equity to Blue Cross Blue Shield.
So how'd it go? Why'd it go away?
Because our former treasurer didn't pay the bill.
Okay, well, that's perfect. Well, more work to do on that one. Internal auditors update. I just want to quickly, we voted last time to move ahead with the request, so I've been working on the cover letter and the actual request for services. I've been reaching out to the different firms that have. It's been very unsuccessful. So far, I've actually talked to one firm that actually said they would actually entertain one and be able to do it this calendar year. That was Sullivan Powers and Company. 2 firms said they are not taking any new municipal clients, and several others have not returned several messages. So I'll be working again next week to see if we get a few more firms that might actually talk to me and if any would actually accept these proposals, and then I will go from there.
You said Sullivan and Powers would?
Yes.
And that's what happened the last time around.
I
So,
guess I'd be willing to make a motion that we just go with Sullivan and Powers. That's who
Yeah,
we
it's just-
used last time.
right.
and-
I mean, I think with that amount of money, we are trying to solicit more than one bid, so I would like to just give me one more week to try to call a few more of the firms to see if they call back to me, and I'll make some more calls to see if we get somebody that we can actually
Okay.
put out a bid. That's just my take. Because I think it's not gonna be a small amount of money.
Do we have any idea what it might be?
No, not right now, but it was, the last ones were done in 1819, those ones are 20, I saw prices from 20 to 30,000 back in 2018-19, so I'm not sure you're looking at,
It's not gonna
$30.
be less.
no, I don't think so. So that's why I just think I'm gonna work a little bit more to try to get a few more, at least talk to some more people. Rutland County Health Partners, we had voted to allow them to be on site as long as they provide a certificate of insurance, which they have. They did propose a selected date that they'd like, which is July 7th, 12 to 2. So I have their insurance, so that will happen. I will put out an email like the town clerk, the treasurers, the listers, and auditors, and make sure you're aware, but July 7th, 12 to 2 is a Thursday, that they'll have that clinic here. So hopefully they'll take care of all the advertising we've talked about before. So it's a quick note on the V-Trans, I'm not sure if you guys saw this, they're just recommending, it came down from V-Trans to all municipalities to try to have folks maybe reach out regarding salt contracts a little earlier than normal, I guess
The
is
thing
what
is,
happened.
they won't talk with us until the state contract's in place, and so that kinda was a weird letter,
Unless they're trying to do theirs earlier, but I just wanted to mention it because they were asking to be distributed to the different municipalities.
Yeah,
so I-
no, the email didn't make sense, but, and no, they didn't,
Next one is just a quick comment on the Department of Housing and Community Development. The state has opened up their 2026 Downtown and Village Center Tax Credit Program, which does not apply to the town of Danby, but will apply to business owners and nonprofits in our village center. And they can apply for tax credits for renovations and different items, and those are due Wednesday, July 1st, 2026. It's not open to personal residences, it's not open to town government or state government, it's for business owners and I guess apartments and nonprofits. The last one was something that Janice had put on here, and state is encouraging people to attend their elections training 101. Right now, obviously, it's supposed to happen. They're encouraging all the folks from boards and the Board of Civil Authority to take this. So I guess for me, I'll probably look to see if it's possible I can attend that. I'm sure you guys will all be thrilled to do it yourselves, correct?
yeah.
So I figured you guys would all be really excited.
Did you discuss the resident land use? Oh, okay.
It's right here. I skipped the order.
Added one in between, so.
Skip the order. So, the last item on information here is just this 3 different letters from Ed Griffith, Tom Fuller, and then Stephen Hilda Haynes regarding various properties. The Griffith property is the one on South Main Street. The Fuller property, I believe, is up by where you're up somewhere near
North Main.
North Main. And I think the Stephen Hilda Haynes regards 2 different properties, one on Route 7 North, and I think the farm property. And they were sent, like I said, to the Rutland Regional Planning Commission and copied to us. And so those will be put there. I just want to make that announcement. Not if you have any more to say about that, but not if you want the letters read. I wasn't going to read them all verbatim, but
No, I don't think there's anything the board can do other than,
make sure they're on record and
Yeah.
they're headed to the appropriate folks.
Excuse me.
Oh.
And is that to do with the Act 181? Yeah.
Wow. Yes. Yes.
Yes?
Yes. Because the way they've listed some of my property, I can never build on it, even though I've got an Act 250 permit for one of the lots.
It's just, it's basically just all the same what you people see and their concerns over basically changing, and his involves previously subdivided property as well. So it's just different concerns that landowners speak up about that I think people are becoming more aware with all the publicity that's been on that.
What's the issue on North Main Street?
on my property.
Yeah, what,
We have a subdivision and part of it's different classifications. It should be one classification since it's one lot. Yeah.
So, and, you guys good with that? We'll move on to the next item, which was Sam Pierce. I thought she was gonna be here in person, but I guess she's here remotely. She's here representing the collaborative, and it's a presentation on
We do
communities.
have Samantha Pierce online.
Yep, oh, the syringe disposal program, so I'll let Samantha speak.
We can try.
Oh,
Samantha,
sorry I couldn't be there in person. I have a,
can you hang on one second? I'm gonna try to get the volume going a little louder for you. Hold on one second. I never do this, unfortunately. Audio. Okay, go ahead again.
Hi all, is that better?
That's as good as we're gonna get. Yep.
Okay, I'm really sorry I can't be there in person. I have another board meeting that would just make it challenging to get back up here in time. But for those of you who don't know me, I work with the Collaborative, which is a substance misuse prevention coalition in southern Vermont. And we recently received a grant to place community syringe or sharp disposal boxes throughout the area. And our goal is to provide a safe and secure place for sharps to be disposed of. And while the current recommendation is to place any, syringes in like a Tide bottle, label it sharps, and bring it to this transfer station, that's not always ideal for every situation. So I am here to ask if the town would be interested in either a secure metal wall-mounted box or a large like mailbox style kiosk. Our funding would allow us to purchase whichever size the town would be interested in and install it and provide the maintenance, so someone who comes over and picks up any syringes collected on whatever frequency it needs to be. So it's really about just finding a host site for the boxes. We would have funding for all of the pieces. Happy to answer any questions anyone may have on those pieces.
Sam, hi, it's Tom Fuller. Where have you thought of any spot in town that was a good idea?
That's where I would love to hear ideas. We've been in talks with other transfer stations throughout the area, so in East Dorset and Bennington County, I think Shaftesbury, up in Londonderry as well, so I wasn't sure if there was a spot. I know the town dump there's a tight area, so it is a challenging spot, or if there's a space around the town office or any of the local businesses where we really can place it anywhere.
Sam, it's Greg. I had a couple questions. You said it's funded by a grant, so one of my questions is how long is that grant good for?
So the grant currently runs through December 2026, but we will be working on a sustainability plan to ensure that there's funding ongoing for that disposal and maintenance piece of it. But once we place the box, that exists, and it's pretty low maintenance after that.
But there must be a cost to disposing and so on, so if there's grant money...
There's either, depending on how frequently it needs to be picked up, it would either be like monthly or quarterly. There is a cost to it, but again, we're working on applying for additional funding to allow that to continue to happen.
But without, I'm not trying to, but after, if there's not any additional funding, the money would run out December 2026, correct?
Yes. Yeah, that is correct.
And just the other question is, so like the current process is the one that's approved by the Vermont Department of Health, correct? Like that's that method that's used or put out by the Department of Health to have the needles put in the Tide container, a suitable container and marked, that is approved by the state, right?
Yes, and this grant funding is through the Vermont Department of Health as well. So they recognize that they have the current best practices and the recommendations, but also are trying to place boxes throughout the community and have provided grants to more local coalitions to identify locations. And actually, as you were asking the question, we asked for an extension, so we could have an extension through December of 2027 for the funding. Sorry, that was just a serendipitous moment.
I guess, back to the funding part, Sam, it's Tom Fuller again. What would be the plan if you didn't get any extension funding for retrieving these boxes that you've got out. Because they wouldn't be able to remain out, correct?
If it depends on the need in the community, how frequently those syringes would need to be picked up. We have other funding streams. The collaborative is very well known and respected in the state of Vermont, and I'm not worried about being able to have additional funding. There's another grant that we have currently that we'd be able to tap into. So yeah, I am sorry I'm not being as clear as I should be with it. Yeah, we would be able to continue to provide, like, within the metal kiosk, so that it's like a metal box with a key, so it's very secure, and within those they have the regular like plastic inserts. We've pre-purchased a number of those, so the likelihood is that we already have enough to like carry us through for quite some time. And then we're also working on partnering with local medical facilities that already have like Stericycle and that disposal system in place. At the moment, both Manchester and Bennington Rescue have offered to be a part of that disposal system. So we kind of have those pieces of sustainability in the works. It's really just about finding the host location and then figuring out which of those make the most sense for that location.
So I have a question. This is Ken Abbott. My concern with that is if the funding dries up and the public is used to using this, and if we had it here at the transfer station and the boxes went away, are we going to create a problem that we have to deal with people bringing them here and nowheres to put them?
Yeah, I mean, I think worst case scenario is it would go back to the way we've been doing it, of having the communication of have a Tide bottle. With the larger kiosk, we could still like contain the sharps with it. Like if somebody brings in a Tide bottle, you can throw it in there. Yeah, that's always something that could happen. I'm not terribly concerned that the funding would dry up, or I know this stream is ending in now December 27, but there are other grant opportunities and funding streams that we would be able to support the town in making sure that can continue.
So Brad Bender speaking. My concern would be the funding. September is going to be here before we know it. And secondly, I don't think our transfer station is a good location for that. It's kind of out of typical sight, and I would be very concerned about it being vandalized.
Yeah, and I don't know if anyone has seen so there used to be this prescription drug disposal box in the pharmacy Northshire. They look like a mailbox outside of like a UPS, the post office where you put your mail in it. They are very secure. They're bolted into a cement slab and can only be opened by keys and are fairly tamper-proof. I think they would lose an arm before they got into any of the sharps. So in that respect, I mean, could it still happen? Sure, someone could take a crowbar to it. But we've been talking to the local police departments, and they have been walking us through a lot of the pieces and considerations, and that hasn't been a really big concern. And yeah, there's also the opportunity. It doesn't have to be like a widely known opportunity. One of the sites that we're working with in Arlington, it's just for their, we kind of have like a quiet opening of, it's just their audience, the people that come to their location are the only ones that know that exists.
Sam, this is Steve. Who's your target group for this drop box?
So our hope is to destigmatize the idea of sharps, because we recognize that anyone who has pets, I have sharps because I had to give a cat an IV, which is wild. People who are on like GLP-1s, who have diabetes, it's really the general population who are most likely to have sharps. When we did a community assessment and spoke to people throughout Bennington County and the surrounding regions, one of the reasons they appreciated the idea is because they had a family member who was on, maybe it was blood thinners, and they had just a stash of syringes they weren't sure what to do with. So the target audience is really just the general people.
Well, I would think if it's that kind of a mailbox-looking container, the best place for it would be somewhere around the front of the building. It's pretty tight at the transfer station, and at this point we don't know if that's going to move or what's going to happen there. So I'd like to see it in a place that's very public.
That makes sense. And this doesn't have to be a decision that happens quickly. I'm happy to answer any questions and continue the conversation on this. Or if there's a local business owner who's like, hey, I would love to have that at my shop, that's all an opportunity as well.
You guys, any further questions, or?
I don't have any more questions.
Yeah, I guess we'll discuss and take it up. Thank you, Sam.
Appreciate your time. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sam.
You guys want to discuss it further? Do you want to make a motion, yes, no? Because
I think before we make too many motions, we need to figure out if we're gonna put it here at the front of the building, we have to make sure that we've got room for it, because it's either gonna have to be under the entryway roof, or we're gonna have to have it far enough away from the eaves that people aren't directly under the eaves while they're depositing. I don't have an issue of putting it on site, it's just, it's gotta be a matter of where we can put it and not have it in the way, or have it where somebody's gonna get hurt with ice falling or snow falling, whatever.
I guess my take on this is, I guess the state of Vermont has an approved, best practice already. Haven't heard of a huge problem, and people who are, if it's for the general population who have animals that need it themselves for different things, and there's an approved process that doesn't appear to be, that's not working, and we take on this, if it's funded by grants, that it just seems something do we want to really entertain this and go down that road?
Well,
Program.
I mean, both of them are real valid, and I'm gonna follow up on Steve's more, because this is a very tight area. And in the winter, it even gets tighter when they're trying to move snow in things. And my biggest concern is just actually, we can't find a place to park cars out here half the time, and the front is very small as well, as far as in for snow removal ends. I'm concerned that that's not a good spot. Obviously the garage isn't, and then once you get around by the sand pile, it even gets worse.
Yeah.
So I think the only two options are the end of the building here or out by the fuel tank. But then that might be a problem with snow removal.
Well, the only problem I have with the end of the building is we'd have to make really sure that it's nowhere near the septic tank, because that is right there under that concrete block.
But if we're talking about like a mailbox situation, it's like, what, 2 feet by 2 feet or?
Well, I think I sent it to you guys too, but I'm pretty sure it's all sent to you guys.
Does it have to be in this area, or can it be at some other?
It can be, she said it could be anywhere in town.
We had a dog that had diabetes, and it would have been nice to have a place to,
I couldn't go by the post office.
yeah, something. Yeah.
We can't speak for the post office. But yeah, it could go by the post office. I don't see why it couldn't.
But it doesn't have to be here, or,
No, it does not have to be right here.
Yeah, our decision is whether we want to have it here, we want to allow that here or not, so.
The one that's at the sheriff's department, it kind of hangs on the wall. And it's a little bit wider than that box up there. And it's probably a little bit longer. And it's got a slit at the top, and you drop, like I take cholesterol medicine shots. And, yeah, but I usually put mine in a bottle until it gets full, and you
yeah, that's
get
what we
rid of it.
did, we put it in the empty laundry out her, because we had to give her shots twice a day. Insulin.
I mean, there's a lot of
I don't know if I feel
injections.
comfortable taking it up tonight.
No, then we can not make a decision tonight, and then we can follow up some questions if we want, or we can bring it up at a later date.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it's gonna work in this area, but possibly at the fire station.
So, we took that into account, I don't think we'll entertain any motions on it.
Right.
The only question I have is, do you want to reach out to her? Do you want to suggest other things? We're not going to make any decisions, just leave it.
I will bring it up at our next meeting. Like Brad said, it could possibly go down to the fire station.
I'm happy to email her and say, we'd like her to look at other alternatives. If there's nothing, then she can either come back, or we can take it, then we
Yeah, I
can take
mean,
it
we can
up.
take it up on the June meeting to further kind of,
And have some information on that.
Obviously, the next item would be the treasurer's report. Caitlin could not make it. She said she had a prior commitment, which is unfortunate. Basically, her update is she's been, working still with NIMRIC to try to work their way through things. She made a quick comment on 2026, the property tax credits that we have on file before the 2026 tax bills in the fall. And that's all she really had for the update for the treasurer's report. So there's not much there. So that's all I have to say on the old treasurer's report, because she's not here. And I'd move on to the budget discussion. And my reason for putting this on the agenda was, obviously for me, we're getting towards the end of the fiscal year, and I just think it's appropriate to just have a quick discussion, look at it and see if what we're seeing as we get close to the end of this fiscal year. And in my mind, there's just a couple things to me that stood out. And some of these things, we're seeing some of the repercussions of some of the issues we've had with the treasurers. And I believe, and I have to follow up with Caitlin on some of these, because I did sit down with a short period with her, but there's some more things for me to discuss, because you can see things like workman's comp insurance on page 2. If you look at workman's comp insurance and different things, the numbers are quite different than what was budgeted. And I believe some of that may have to do with how things were not paid on time, and they're being pushed on to this fiscal year, which we expected, but I just want to make sure we're all looking at these things. Down under equipment, you know, we did vote to approve computer purchases, and we actually didn't put money in the office equipment for that. We have money in the office equipment reserve fund. And Brad, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but when you have money in a reserve fund, probably should be using that money to cover items we purchased. I believe you have to vote to take that and transfer that money from the fund to the actual office equipment account, so that's
It's
something.
in every other page.
Yeah, no, that's all I got too, so I'm just going with it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we went 1, 3, 5, 7. They didn't give
We've
us all.
only got the odd
They
pages.
didn't feel we needed them all.
Well, okay, well, that's probably not her fault, but the office equipment reserve, you know, we budgeted $1,500, we have money in that, we have right around $8,000 in that fund. Previous meeting, we voted to approve computer purchases, so those are purchased at a cost $2,265.26. So to me, we should be voting to transfer that amount of money out of the equipment reserve fund and into the office equipment fund. But since you guys don't have it, you can't see it.
I have it.
Okay, well, he's got it.
I made my own copies this afternoon.
In our equipment reserve, is that our
Nope,
equipment
there's- nope,
reserve?
There's like office equipment. There's
Office
one under
equipment.
office equipment, under... It's after the... It's an office equipment reserve fund right there. It's 7,680.40 in it.
What page?
It's just on its own page on the balance. There's a balance sheet. You should have another piece, another stuff with the balance sheet, Brad. Another packet. No? Right beside you. That should be the balance sheet. One of them's the balance sheet, right? Which one are you looking at, the balance?
This is the one that's missing every
Okay,
other.
now look at the balance. It should be on the balance on this third to last page on the balance. The one you had first, Brad, will be in there. Why you were looking at the balance?
So, how much were the computers?
$2,265.26 that we...
$2,265.
So, since we voted to approve the computer purchase, I think we need to have a motion to transfer that amount of money out of the office equipment reserve.
I'll make the motion that we transfer $2,265,
Recording in progress.
and
26 cents.
26 out of our office equipment reserve to pay for the computers that we voted on.
I'll second it.
So it's a motion by Tom Fuller, a second by Steve Haynes. All those in favor?
Aye.
So,
We can't hear.
sorry, Annette. So, there was,
Alright, oh, hold on a second. Okay, can you repeat that last one for some reason? The motion was,
motion was by Tom Fuller, seconded by Steve Haynes, and that was to transfer $2,265.26 out of the office equipment reserve fund into the office equipment account to cover the cost of the computers that we voted at a previous meeting, to purchase.
Do you hear that okay, Annette?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
So just, and I won't drag this on forever, but just different things I started seeing that, you know, IT support, network, backup, that's on page 3 of the actual, the budget status report. And you guys may not have the ones, you know, the odd numbers.
Nope, we got threes.
So which is, you do or don't?
We do.
Okay, well, so you just see, I mean, you look at some discrepancies there, but the IT support is actually, I guess some of that she had said was setting up the computers and doing a bunch of different stuff related to that. Then they asked about network backup, because there's quite a difference in the network backup. Budgeted 550, we're at 2,700. But my understanding is network backup is backup for NIMRIC, is backup for the listers. And it's just different things that are coming to my attention. I just think sometimes these categories have me, I guess, questioning.
Well, I think one of the things that we kind of took on with a treasurer that was very new to the thing is the $11,000 in training that we
Correct.
paid for. That wasn't budgeted in there. And hopefully that has a long-term gain for the town.
Yeah, and I did talk to her about that we are, you know, we do need to make progress so that we can't continue to spend that level forever. So yes, that's another item. And I won't drag this on. The other two, you know, assistant clerk is getting close. Assistant treasurer, we're over.
Now, I guess on the assistant treasurer, and I guess without the treasurer here, why are we running over on the assistant when the...
Yeah, that's,
May I speak?
yeah,
So I recall from previous meetings that the discussion was, there was, I think, $1,000 that was put aside for the assistant treasurer. If it went beyond that, it was the treasurer's responsibility to pay the assistant
Right.
treasurer.
yeah, and so that's one of the things that I will discuss with the treasurer, but I hope, you know, that was my understanding, but.
Right, and I had discussed it with her, and she said no, she wasn't gonna allow it to be taken out of her salary.
Well, then why are we using the assistant so readily that it's going over?
I don't think,
Because I thought the assistant was for
when she's not here.
yeah, when the treasurer can't be here and it's...
Right.
So the only thing I'll say on this, and I don't know if it's completely accurate or not, because I'm not her, but there's going to be times where I think she had to have Marvin come in to learn the NIMRIC system from NIMRIC to where...
So it's more of training.
Where I think the hours he's got is, a lot of it's for training to understand the system.
Well, then that makes sense, and I'm glad someone was here to answer that.
Yeah, it's just questions I'm bringing up and just things that I'll discuss.
No, these are very valid.
And,
So that money should be transferred back to support and
well,
training?
it's sort, I mean, it's part of the, kind of part of the training, and, I mean, if that's the case, but I guess I'll have to speak to her still, and, you know, because she has to be made clear that if $1,000 is for the assistant treasurer, and over that it comes out of hers, and if she doesn't want to do that, I guess we have another issue. So, on the list. So that was really the main pieces that I had seen that were, there's a couple things, heating oil, which that is an account, you know, I think I did speak about that one. It's the wrong account, you know, she was putting
Diesel fuel under
everything
heating.
towards heating, and that was incorrect.
That made a lot of sense, which
So,
we kind of knew.
So, and as you know, it's been a tough year in the highway department for material and, you know, looks like some maintenance stuff, Steve, and then, you know, maybe that'll come up in the road commissioner's report, but, you know, the one last thing I guess I would want to discuss with you guys is under bridge construction, you know, we've been putting money away for the bridge replacement. This is page 8, which you probably don't have it, but
Right.
make sure you, so basically, we're putting money away. Well, there's $9,863.62 worth of invoices that V-Trans has sent us for that bridge to date. And those are, I did ask her about that. I had a little bit of time, so I did try to reach out for a couple items, and that is, it has engineering and it has right-of-way on it. And I emailed the fellow from V-Trans, that was, I think his name was Andrew, I believe it was sending all those emails regarding the document, and so I emailed him, asking him to explain that in the process, and I've heard nothing back. So I will follow up again with him and try to go further, because I don't know, you guys have been here longer than me, but I'm not sure, I wasn't expecting to see
See, I've never done a bridge project with the state.
recurring
I don't,
invoices at this point. You know, I thought the pre-construction and right-of-way, the engineering and all that stuff would be part of.
well, it's all part of the project.
It is.
And it's in that agreement. If you read the
Right, that we cover the
one that we
cost.
signed.
Yes,
Yeah.
the 5%. But I guess I asked them just to lay out, to know what we'd expect going forward, because we're gonna be getting routine invoices throughout the process. We're trying to put money away. I mean, I guess it's,
We'll barely be covering ours.
so,
Yeah.
I just didn't know if you guys had more.
The only other thing I could think of besides engineering would be their core sampling. Because they did drill, I think it
Right.
was 8 test holes up there.
So, but I said, I did email him, I have received a response, I will follow up again. I just want to understand if this is, did we just have $10,000 for a short period for this, and then we're not gonna see much till things happen closer to the construction date, or are we gonna see a constant stream of money coming,
I would think
invoices
that
coming in?
once the project's designed, that there shouldn't be any, the only thing is though, I don't remember in that agreement, I'm assuming we're paying for the engineering, or the 5% of the engineering, so we're paying for that design once they design it. So there will be
Yeah,
some engineering costs there.
yeah, and I just asked, I just wasn't mean, I just asked him nicely if you could, you know, lay out the expected, you know, timeline, it's just expected
Right.
process for invoices and things, so we weren't shocked maybe. So I'm gonna leave, if you guys, unless you guys have some other items you want to discuss, I just want to kind of briefly go over this, and if you guys have other comments or other things, questions, I'm happy to keep talking, I guess.
No, I'm good.
Moving right along.
Or not. Okay, we're moving on to the 2026, the local emergency management plan. Tom Johnson had reviewed it, said the only changes really are just the change in, like, basically the change in the chair and vice chair. And the actual plan itself, which I'm sure you guys have seen plenty. You know, I don't know if you guys want to look at it or not, but it's really the same as usual, but.
Do we have to vote to adopt
Yes, we do.
that? Okay.
We do have to vote to, we have to make a motion to adopt the 2026 local emergency management plan. And,
I'll make the motion.
so Tom Fuller made the motion,
I'll second it.
Steve Haynes seconded it. Any further discussion on that? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
Passes unanimously.
And that was good. And there's a piece that's related to that, but obviously a little bit different, is 2026 Public Works Mutual Aid Agreement Renewal, which is another thing which... Have you guys seen this one?
I'll make the motion that we sign it.
I'll second it.
That's a motion by Steve Haynes, a second by Tom Fuller. No further discussion, so all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Passes unanimously.
More stuff to sign. Transfer Station Committee update. I see Mr. Payne's in the audience. I saw on my phone at 4:30 something from you, Bill, but I didn't read it, I didn't open it.
So I did talk to a guy up in Montpelier at the Vermont Agency of Natural Resources. This guy Brian Sales is the way he pronounces it or writes it. And he says basically the permit itself is free to the municipality, but you do have to pay for engineering to get a site plan and then a site management plan done. And he thought those costs were somewhere between 10 and 20K. And that's what he sent. He sent some kind of file to us. I went through it kind of quickly about the requirements that we have to meet. Wetlands, near, daycare centers and stuff like that. You gotta be 100 feet away from daycare centers, so you have a daycare center up there, stuff like that.
Did you send that to the members of the committee, or?
No, I sent that directly to you.
Okay.
If you want, I'll send it to Steve tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see it go to the committee, but I obviously didn't get a chance to read it yet.
Yeah,
I'm glad
to me today, so.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
I'm not worried about it.
I just, I'm glad that we have some information. I'll look at it. I think the whole committee that was formed should see it, hopefully, You have all
Is the committee still in existence? Are we still?
It hasn't been
disbanded.
Hasn't been disbanded. We're dragging this puppy along.
What was Brian's last name?
S-A-L-E-S, Sales. It's Brian, he pronounces Celeste, or Celeste, something like that, but it's Sales. Right? And it's, if you want to talk, I'll send it out to everybody tonight. I'll send it to Steve and everybody else tonight.
So I guess further on that, we just have to read it and see, and maybe we...
Yeah, and are we still looking at sites or considering sites?
Well, I should let Steve speak, but to my knowledge,
I'll talk to you later on.
To my knowledge, we ruled out the west side.
The west side's out.
Was out. And the Mount Tabor deal is done. So for town-owned property, it's here.
How much does it cost to rework the site of Parameter? 70K, something like that?
To rework what?
To level off the site and have it.
Oh, for up there?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be, right now, without current pricing, last year it was about 75,000 to do the dirt work. And then another, I believe it was 35,000 for the concrete. Then the electrical, I can't answer that on.
And what I...
Are there abandoned sand tents in town? I know there's abandoned sand pits that aren't being used. Something that's flat and level. West side?
Yeah, the west side is the abandoned pit that we're not putting a transfer station up there because
Can't get there in the winter.
you can't get there in the winter, yeah.
And obviously, I think we were looking originally, the intent was to look at town property, because we already own the land. So I guess my take is the committee, hopefully you guys can discuss this too, and what I wanted to see at some point isn't actually just some quick, a summary of a recommendation saying this is what is involved, here's roughly the cost, so that then the board we can talk about it and decide. And if your recommendations say, here's what it costs, whatever recommendation you put in there for other properties, but the idea of it in town properties was I think cost efficiency because we own it.
Yeah.
And you said 10 to 20,000 for engineering?
10 to 20 is he wouldn't nail it down any more than that.
No, but I don't think I think we're trying to look for just to get us in the ballpark to know, you're looking at.
Well, even if we called it 15,000, if you go with the dirt work and the concrete, we're at about 125,000 right now.
Right. And, and that's what we're looking for that's what I think we're looking for. And what kind of permitting? Yes, we're not getting, I guess what you're saying, we're not getting charged for permitting, you still have to go through permitting.
Yeah, you have to go through the permitting. That's gonna cost you money, but they don't charge you for it.
Right, but you have to.
You get the piece of paper for free.
Now, the permitting required is a solid waste permit, or is there an Act 250 required as well?
I don't know that. I asked him permitting. He says the permitting is free to a municipality. He says, but you do have to go through the engineering work to get through it. And recommended hiring, he gave us a list of people you can go to. There's somebody in Rutland you can go to. If you want, I'll reach out to those guys and get back to you too.
Yeah, I just didn't know the number of permits required. If it's a 3,
I can send it out too. He did send me, he did
Okay.
send it with an attachment, I just, it was, you know, he didn't
Let
get
me
it till
talk
late.
to him, I'll talk to him one more time, and I'll reach out to the guys in Rutland, to the engineering, see what, if they can ballpark what it might cost.
No, we good, yeah, we're making some progress, and like I said, I think we're too far from having a quick little report to the board, and we can do something, then we can say the committee's done their task and stop dragging this thing down. But thank you for doing that, Bill. All right, okay, the next fun one. The, discussing the 2026 dump day. 2025 was not successful, as you probably all recall, so. We won't even try to have a dump day in 2026.
Personally, I'd say no.
It's very hard to find people to take the time to do it.
At this point in time, I mean, I realize for some people it's an inconvenience, but you can go to Granville, East Dorset, and Gleason Road in Rutland to dispose of anything.
At any time.
At any time.
Yeah.
And without dump day last year, we really didn't see any major change in the amount of garbage side the road.
Now, I used East Dorset the first time for a TV that was no longer functioning. It was pretty easy. You drove there, no cost, put it here and drive away.
Yep.
So I thought that was somewhat, I just want to make sure I brought this up because we've had one for quite a few years. I just want to bring it up. We didn't have one last year. I'm okay. I just want to have the discussion. And if we want to,
And usually we lose money at this anyways.
well, actually, we couldn't find a way to work it, so we didn't have one. We dragged that out for a while too and didn't end up not having one. So I'm perfectly okay not having one. And we probably don't have to even motion if we're not gonna have one. So, right?
Right.
The consensus is not to have one.
We don't have to take any action on it. Next item is the discuss, the backup attendant for the transfer station. And I think, Steve, that was something I think we talked about, maybe make sure we put on this agenda to discuss because we don't really have
A
a
backup.
plan in place. You guys took over this winter on short notice, the town crew trying to make things work. And recently it was in,
We've been trying to, and Bobby Halligan expressed interest that he would be willing to fill in when he's not driving, which would mainly be Saturdays. I mean, if it was a day that during the week, if he wasn't busy, he could fill in. The only thing I would say on that is we just have to have him as an on-call employee. That way he's still covered under the insurance.
Well, I think if we had somebody to cover Saturdays like that, that would get us through any emergencies, because you guys are here during the weekdays, and obviously you love to have to go do that whenever it is, but it can be done. I'm saying we
can be done.
And so I think if we put Bob as the on-call, he will cover the Saturdays, if there is any, and if there's a weekday, but at least we are covered during the weekdays with the town crew being here, that we wouldn't have to completely shut down that day.
yeah, the only thing I'd say to that is like during this winter, it was not very convenient when there was.
Well, if I have,
Challenge when there, but so was that, you know, I'm fine with Bob too. There was a mention, I believe at one point that, was it Raymond Stevens had expressed, didn't somebody?
Yeah, he mentioned it to me that if we were able to contact him, he would come in and help us out.
You know, and I'm not saying that Bob shouldn't be, I just don't know if it's something that might be able to go on weekdays, if there's some kind of, you know, if it's an issue like the winter time when it was much more challenging for you guys to try to do that, but I'm good with, if you're willing to say you guys can do it during the week and Bob.
Well, I think the problem is did Raymond officially say he would do it, or was it just to help out?
He said that he would help us out if he knew he was needed, he would come in. So
We don't know he's needed.
right, it's usually short notice. The only thing with the road crew doing it is you get what you get. Because a lot of times when I'm the one watching it, I go out there, I turn the keys, run the compactor, and I go back inside the garage and go back to working on what I'm working on.
Well, I think, see, the thing is, we don't have a lot of options of people standing around waiting to be called
Right.
maybe once
Right.
in 3 years. So I think that's as good a plan as we can
Yep.
present going forward for the time being. And, you know, if things change and it really ends up being more of an issue, we'll have to address it deeper, but I don't think we need to.
In parts of the year, he would be available during the week, correct? I mean,
What's that?
there's parts of the year that Bob would be available during the week, right?
Parts of the year I would.
All winter, he would be. I
All
would
winter
think.
he would be available unless he's working for
Picking up
nights.
something else, yeah.
But during the summer, I can't speak for his.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And obviously, an on-call person, pay-wise, if they're brought on to work, does that come under the the rate of the transfer station?
I would think that
attendee,
Bob
or-
would come on at the rate he was being paid.
Yeah, I mean, for an on-call, I would think we would have to figure out, I mean, we don't have anything in the contract for that. I would be happy for an on-call to, I mean, because we're not gonna use him as an everyday, to give him the rate that we were paying him as a road guy, because it is quite a, basically, you could get a call Friday night and ask to come in Saturday morning. It's like, well, I had plans, but,
Yep.
so,
I'm okay with that.
no, so I'll make the motion that we make Bob Halligan the on-call transfer station operator.
Second.
There's a motion by Tom Fuller, a seconded by Brad Bender. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? That's unanimous. And we keep on moving.
Passes unanimously, not passes bananas. See, even AI screws it up.
No worse than I do. All right. So next item, discuss the road crew call procedure, and I think this is being brought up. I think it was asked to be on the agenda as well. Discuss what goes on, is there a policy right now currently the town has? And if Steve is not available out of town, you know, is there a policy how this works? Do we need one? Is there an issue?
See, I'm not aware of if there's a formal policy. Are you aware if there's a formal policy?
There's no formal policy that I've ever been told. The last I knew, I was the one that was doing the on-calls. And if I understand the issue that we're trying to discuss, but nobody's coming out and saying, it was Sunday, April 19th at 4:30, Larry messaged me that there's 3 inches of snow on Paris Hill and that he was treating the roads. Now, I was not here, but after 21 years of working for the town of Danby, I trust Larry's judgment on whether these roads need to be treated or not.
Right. So, I guess that's not the discussion of the thing, but it is a valid comment on it, because the discussion of the thing is, are we gonna do a policy?
Yeah, and I mean, if we, I just want, like I said, I brought it up, it was asked, we brought it up, I'm bringing it up, and, you know, you were aware of it, but you're also, if you're out of town, you know, should you be the one that's taking calls when you're on your own time? You know, should we have something that the other folks know who to go?
I guess that was, yeah, the question is,
You know?
you're good with, the biggest problem is are you gonna get all the calls if you're gone? And very
I
seldom.
may
are you.
not get all of the calls, but at this point in time, in my opinion, if it had been Bob or John that went out on their own with their own decision, I would rather have you in town say yes or no. But the fact that it was Larry doing it,
So, I mean,
But back to, should we do a formal procedure, I guess is,
to me, it doesn't have to be a long, involved policy. I mean, if the road foreman's working, it's the road foreman. If you're out of town and you're on vacation or something, you shouldn't have to be available, and the road crew knows that it goes to the road commissioner. That's pretty simple to put into a policy. We can word something,
You can word it in a policy like that, but there's nothing to say that I'm out of town, Tom's not out of town too.
right.
well, there's always the fallback.
And how big of a process do we have to make this to treat the roads, to make the roads safe?
Yeah, it's not just, I'm referring more to others, not just that too. I just want, honestly, because other calls can come in too, it can be other stuff to do with washouts, different things when you're not around, that's all, and I'm not bringing it up. If you guys don't feel a need, and we're doing fine now. Good.
I would say if he called you, then you made the decision, and that's your job, and that's how it should be. But if you're not around, I don't think an employee should make the decision.
You're thinking, Kenny?
Well, I think that the guys that are out there know what the roads are and what they need. I understand if you can't get in touch with you, and like you said, Larry knew that that road was bad and it needed to have something on it. I guess if you can't reach out, you gotta kind of weigh the safety factor.
Well, I think if we look at that as, it would have been a lot worse if he didn't go out and there was an accident. Because then everyone would have been bitching about this policy meeting. So if we put that to rest, that erring on the side of caution or safety, let's say, but do we need a policy in place is what I thought we were gonna try to discuss. And
Mine's not revolved around one incident. It's brought up to me thinking about if you're gone and you're not, you're on your own time. Should we have it set up so they know that they should not be bothering you when you're on vacation or something? And there's a clear...
Well, if we're gonna set up a policy like that, it should fall to the road commissioner. But now we're still back into if you can't get a hold of the road commissioner, for whatever reason.
Then it's gonna, you're gone and he's gone, then it's probably gonna default to the chair, isn't it?
And now we're back to how many phone calls do we make
Right.
before we make the road safe?
But the other thing is, the policy, you make an attempt to notify. I think the other thing is, if someone's making an attempt to reach out to people...
Then I think if we're gonna do a policy, it should be if I'm not available, that they attempt to reach Tom, and if Tom's not available, they're gonna have to use their own judgment.
that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's not, to me, that's reasonable. And it's...
But in this case, he did reach out to
Yeah.
Steve, and so it didn't even need to go to the second thing, but. So you're thinking our policy should be, if the road foreman is on vacation or out of town and an employee, there's a call out. See, the problem is it isn't always the
I know. That's why...
employee, the state police call.
But that's also what we have, that's why these forms get sent in too. It usually has him, you, and then the chair.
Right.
That's what...
It works
Right, and
both ways, because what if Larry hadn't noticed it and somebody called and said, hey, the road is bad, somebody's got to make a decision to call somebody out.
But there are times that I've contacted Steve, in the middle of the night, we've had a house fire, and said, hey, we gotta have some sand on the road, because it's where we made a mess.
He doesn't answer, don't call me in.
Right, see, when I look at this, it's not saying...
It can be anybody that's gonna call
The way
it in.
Steve used it, the way it worded that, the road foreman's here, it's pretty clear. Road foreman's gone, you try to notify the road commissioner,
Yep.
the chair, and then you use your best judgment. I don't think you're not restricting anybody.
So you think we should do it in a formal policy, everyone?
I think the policy could be as simple as Steve, Tom, and then chair.
Right.
Well, I think,
Two
yeah,
sentences.
yes, foreman, commissioner, chair.
Yeah.
And, you know, and then if no one's responding, you gotta use your best judgment, and we've, and that's, we can try to work on a quick thing and bring it up at a future meeting. It's not trying to make a mountain of it, it's not trying to do anything, I don't think it's trying to put you, it's trying to help you. My goal is to try to make sure if you're gone, you not getting harassed constantly, if you don't need to be. You know, giving people a clear idea what to do. That's all. So, we can look at another quick little.
Yeah, because there's a few other, I mean, there's no reason Steve couldn't designate a employee as it's other towns give the phone to the number 2 guy or 3 guy, whoever's, so.
Well, we haven't approved anything yet.
Right,
We can
no, I'm just
discuss one
saying,
and whatever.
we discussed it, doesn't need to go any farther.
It can be also, or road foreman assign someone. Writing some notes. And then you still, okay. We go with that?
So we're not gonna make a motion?
I don't think we need to this meeting, we can carry it on, I mean,
Well, and if we can motion, we can make a motion if you want, that I will draft up a policy to bring up at a future meeting.
2 sentences with the,
I'll make the motion that I appoint the person to do call-outs while I'm gone.
Instead of a policy.
Instead of a policy.
But you can make
Second that.
Okay, hold on. So, just say it again so the AI gets this.
I make the motion that the road foreman will appoint somebody to do call-outs when the road foreman is not available.
I'll second it.
Okay, so that's
I guess under discussion, you're gonna make it a employee. You're gonna make it an
Hold on.
employee.
is this for the
Yes.
recording?
Just a technicality, Steve should make that
Right.
motion.
Correct. So, just because of
It's a
the
technicality.
the position.
All right, I retract my motion.
No, I think,
So I'll make the motion.
so Brad Bender's gonna make the motion that the road foreman will designate, right?
In his
employee.
An
absence.
employee to handle calls in his absence. We have a second?
I'll second it.
A second by Tom Fuller. Is there any more discussion? Okay. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed?
I abstain.
So, Steve Haynes abstains. Well done. Holy, okay. All right. Highway Department, Road Commissioner Report, Fuller and Haynes. Just a quick thing on current projects.
Well, right now, we've got, our biggest project is, is it 12 or 13 DIs you're putting in front of Brad's?
13.
I think we will address that because Brad's wanted to address the painting in the thing. My understanding was we were gonna put the new culvert in, and I'm kind of skipping around here, the one that's failed under the Brook Road. And we were gonna put a DI on the south side of that culvert. And then obviously finish the culvert coming out of the DI. That was the only DI being put in.
So the way it's gonna have to work for the entire project, which is Danby Hill and Brook Road, for the way you and I discussed it, is we're going to have to put in a plastic upright by Jody Fuller's house, and we're going to replace the culvert going across Danby Hill. And then we're going to shut down the Brook Road during the day, dig the culvert that flows into across, and put a DI in on the south side. And then we were going to put one plastic upright. Basically, it's going to be think about that deep. It's just a 90-degree elbow into a culvert with a screen, not a screen top, but a slotted top, and bury it down to the catch basin to catch the sediment before it gets into the brook.
But where was that one going?
That was going just above Brad's driveway.
Now, why are you thinking we need, because we've got the swale through there. And that we could run right into the DI.
Everything works fine by my driveway, the way it is. The problem is from the Gingerbread House parking lot to where you're talking about the culvert crossing the road, it keeps washing out. And the three of us met there last fall, and I left that conversation with the understanding that the swale was going to continue from the Gingerbread House parking lot down to where the culvert crosses. And then it wound up being just filled in with recycled material that washes out. So what I'm asking for is just to continue that paved swale down
To the DI.
down
that
to
we're
the
gonna put in.
DI.
And as the road foreman, I say no. Because the conversation I had today, that goes against our road permits. That we can put in a stone line ditch, but we are not allowed to put in blacktop line ditches because it increases the velocity of the water and can cause erosion further down.
Okay, so put in a stone line ditch with appropriate size stone that it doesn't wash. But everything has been paved very nicely with a lip and so forth, that my driveway is not washing out, I'm not getting water in my basement, and I see no reason to ruin that.
Personally, I don't like taking the water that far down the hill. That's your call. I don't think we should be running it that far down the hill. I think we should find a quicker place to get the water off the roadside.
So you want to pick it up on the upper side by just above his driveway?
That was what you and I had discussed before, that we were gonna pick it up above his driveway and bring it underground to a catch basin so it had a chance to settle out any silt before it went into the brook.
So we're still gonna have the water coming that is generated by the driveway, you know, through there, because that's probably...
We can start below the driveway.
Start at the end of the Gingerbread House parking lot where the paved swale ends. But you have to be careful because there's pipes that go under the road.
Well, I understand there's pipes that are going to the road, and we've dug around pipes before, and we've dug around fiber optic before, so that part's not an issue. But we're not going to do things that, as a road crew, we're not going to put in a blacktop swale because it goes against the permit. If Tom wants to do that, that's fuller sand and gravel. That has nothing to do with me.
Now, what permit are you worried about? Our MSRG?
Yes. I talked with Patrick about this and he said that that goes against A&R rules that we can do a stone line ditch on that hill. We can't do a blacktop according to the way he understood it.
Yeah,
And he thought that underground was the best approach for us.
right.
And he looked at the site, or he just on the phone?
He hasn't looked at the site, he was on the phone. I can get Patrick to come out and look at the site.
I'm just
saying, I can call Patrick, that's easy enough. He's easy to get a hold of and he's easy to work with, so I can call Patrick and have him come out and do a site visit.
So, the only other question I'd have is, so that, if you went with a stone ditch, that would stay all within the highway right away?
Yeah.
Everything that we have marked out is within the town's right of way.
So what are the lines that you spray painted on there that go north and south representing?
Counting culverts. We're counting culverts. It's every 20 feet, so I know how many culverts we need for the project.
How many sections of pipe?
10 and a half.
If he put it in the way, yeah, okay, now I get it.
So I guess we're all on the same page, except for if we're gonna pick up that upper one and run it down, or if we're gonna continue the ditch from there, which I mean, it's not a big deal. We're not doing it.
It's not a big deal, and if a
Why-
stone line ditch was put there, that would be just fine.
I'm just saying that we probably, it's tough to envision it from here when we can just.
Well, there's a picture of it right there.
Yeah, but the footage and everything, as far as how much farther we're gonna run that. So I'll say that we'll just meet out there again and.
And I would like to be invited to that
Yeah,
meeting.
no, obviously, yeah.
So,
Yeah. Our other current projects is, Steve's got the culverts in on the Timoth Road. We're waiting to hear on our grant application for the Class 2 paving, which you haven't seen anything, have you?
I have not seen anything on it.
We should be hearing on that because they're starting to award those.
and you probably answered that before, Tom, but so if we don't get the grant, are we still going to be?
We're still doing a phase of it. We're gonna get everything, the culverts was done. If we get the grant, we're gonna be able to do the whole thing. So right now, we have enough to get to Craft Hill. Where we decide there, now there's another part of that. We have some structure
Right.
work there on Craft Hill that if we got some grant that we would wanna do. But I guess we'll know here in the next, hopefully week if we got the grant. I would think we have to be pretty close on the list. Other than that, was there any other major projects we got going on?
Not major ones. We have a bunch of culverts that we're going to be replacing. We have two up here that need to be replaced after we get the lights back from Timoth. The one by Jody's and the one from the gingerbread house across.
Yeah, part of his deal.
And then, after that, most of our culvert projects are gonna be on dirt roads to where they'll be a lot easier projects.
Right.
A lot faster.
We'll move on to the status, and I haven't talked to you since,
Yeah. The only reason I put that on there was just more of like, just an information thing that you come out of winter, just for us and for
Right.
people to say, hey, the trucks, things are in
well,
order.
and I, because I haven't had a chance to talk to Steve, where is our tractor at for? Did anything get resolved?
We haven't seen any issues with it, and at this point, as soon as I get the mower fixed and we get the grass high enough, we're just gonna start running it, see what happens. Marky came and looked at it, he cut the hydraulic filter apart, really didn't find any major issues in the filter as far as metal
Metal?
metal particles or fiber in it to where we're gonna run it and see. We bought one of those laser thermometers so we can take temperatures of it as we're going, and if the temperature spikes on it, we can go around and see exactly what is hot.
Now, do you think next week we should be able to, where's the mower at? What's the story with that you?
The mower, now that we have the hydraulic cylinders back on it, I need to get it inside the garage and get the boom lowered. Last year, the pin on the stick broke and it bent the ear where the pin goes through. I need to cut that off, re-weld it, and plate it so that we can hook the hydraulic cylinder back into that.
Now, are you gonna be able to do that this week coming up so that we could see if the tractor's gonna have any issues?
After I get done grading.
Both's gone?
Yep. So as far as other stuff, I've got a plow out there that has a crack running down one of the ribs. It's like 18 inches long, which is why it's not painted yet, because I got a price on, see if this is the right one. That's not. I have a price on an all-angle plow like we bought for the Freightliner with the candy canes on it and set up the way we want it set up, with the carbide and cover plate on it, extra shoes, and that was $16,244 for a new plow. The one that's out there that has the crack is a 2014. So at this point it has a lot of miles under it. We can weld it back together and hope for the best, which I've already welded on the nose cone of it last year because that had a crack in it. I'm not sure how many more times we're gonna be able to weld fatigue metal before we have major issues.
I assume that's our oldest plow?
Yes. No, it's not our oldest. It's our oldest that we use every day. Our oldest is a backup plow.
But the one that we use regularly?
Yes.
So if we're gonna spend that kind of money, we probably would have to, and I would not wanna spend that in this budget, for sure.
Yeah, no, we don't have it in this budget.
Well, and the price he gave me is good till June, so.
Yeah, but
And I'm not looking for, I'm not looking to vote on anything tonight. I'm just putting it out there. You've got major equipment, so.
oh yeah, no, but I think it's good, because I think if we think that's something, we should, at some point, we'll have to vote on it if we're gonna
Right.
approve that purchase, so, and I'm assuming if we're gonna approve that, we wanna do it sooner at some point, but I don't.
Well, we have to take it out of next year's budget,
Right,
so.
if we vote, if we put this on, if we put it, you can put it on June, and June it won't go on the 26th, if we approve it.
Did he say how far something like that's out?
No, he did not. I didn't specifically ask how long it would take to get it, because I was just looking for prices at this point in time. And this is through HP Fairfield. It's still Tenco equipment, so we're keeping everything the same.
Yep.
Is there any other, obviously, is there other suppliers to get numbers from? Is that basically it?
Right now, everything that we run on the trucks is Tenco. Just because we've had good luck with them and keeping the bodies all the same, all the parts are interchangeable. So I would hate to go to a different vendor to get a different product, because
Save 2,000 is gonna cost you 4 in the long run.
Here, I put it on the June meeting, we can talk about, if we approve it in June, then it goes on the 27 budget.
Right. I mean, it'll have to come out of our
the equipment,
our equipment reserve, which,
we have to vote to
yeah.
take out anyway, so I think we'll do that.
So, the next major thing,
Okay, well, so you guys get on, I put that on a June meeting, and we can check and see now if we can put something together, if we approve it, we can transfer the money then. Okay?
so the next major thing, in my opinion, if we're gonna continue to run the Western Stars, we need to think about rebodying them. And the price I have on rebodying my truck, which is the oldest truck, is $51,380. Adding a diverter valve on the front to make running that plow simpler is another $1,500. And to install everything, to remove, prep, and install new body, this price includes new hydraulic lines from cab back, as well as installation of diverter valve and electric metering door installed, is $13,250.
Now, would they take the old ones off, or does
That price includes removing, I believe it does, labor to remove, prep, and install.
I guess you should look at this, because I'm more to you.
So what's the overall total then?
I think it was $13,250. $13,250. Plus.
I don't know, without it in front of me, Ken, I think you're around 64,000.
You're talking everybody, one or all?
Well, I wouldn't do both of them in the same year, but
Yeah.
one's a 2014, one's a 2016, and if we're gonna continue to run the Western Stars, I think we should be looking at it.
Well, Mike,
And that's still a lot better than the 300,000 for a new truck and body.
if the rest of the truck is,
Well, every year we're gonna put $15,000 to $20,000 in these older trucks.
now, why do you feel we're gonna put that much into them? What is the area that we're gonna be putting it in?
Either emissions or, I mean, truck 3 is down there right now getting an oil pan, steering linkages, and there was something else on there, and we're at $8,000 right now. And when I asked Mark about doing the oil pan, he said, absolutely not.
this is why I was bringing up the upkeep, look, you know, our equipment, the amount of money we're putting in the equipment reserve isn't,
Well, I guess, you know,
not very.
I would have liked to known about the oil pan event before we sent it over and spent $8,000. Because we just did an oil pan on identical truck almost, and it was $600. Right from International, or actually I got it from Fleet Ride. So I've told you my feelings on those thieves over there.
And I did what we've always discussed. I called Marky first. And he said, no. And there comes a point in time, Tom, I don't always feel that I should ask you for handouts to work on.
Well, the only problem we run into is we have a limited budget. And the trucks are going well over where we're at. Yeah, no, I appreciate you don't ask, but it's one of them things that damned if we do and damned if we don't.
How many more things you want to think about?
We can't hide from it. It's reality. So, I mean, we gotta talk about it, because if we don't talk about it, the money isn't coming out of thin air. So to me, we have to talk about this stuff, and to me, there's two items, at least there's one item for sure on the June agenda. And if you think that one body this year is critical, then I'd put that on the agenda to discuss and vote in June as well.
I mean, the body itself, I think we could probably get in a year or two out of it, but we need to seriously be considering whether we're gonna replace a truck or think about rebodying it while it's still worth owning.
Okay. You guys happy with that?
I'm happy.
Well, I'm not happy, but
Wow, you didn't wanna hear about the excavator?
you wanna keep hearing the bad news, or you wanna keep moving on?
Make it home so I can
Okay.
get on to my stuff.
Okay, so we're gonna move on. We'll keep that for next time. All right.
Coming soon.
All right, review and sign fleet permits. There's only two that came in. There's New England Quality Service Incorporated and Wayne Contracting LLC. So, I don't
I'll
know.
make the motion, we sign the 2 fleet permits.
Tom Fuller makes a motion,
I'll second it.
seconded by Steve Haynes. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passes unanimously, that's good. Moving on, all right. Last real item that I can really think of is I think that there is another issue or discussion on employee that I think we should actually have a vote to go into executive session for
Why don't we
discussion.
see if there's any new or old business before we do that? And
Okay. I'm open to that. Is there any old business? Is there any new business? Okay, we move past that. So now I'll entertain a motion to enter executive session for discussion on an employee.
so moved.
Well, who made the motion? Okay, Brad made a motion.
I'll second it.
Steve seconded it. All in favor, aye. We'll be back
Aye.
shortly.